Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all. Let's start with Taka. Thank you for the tier 3 for 15 months. Small Cat, thank you for the 25 months. Cabe and Ren, each with 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Ren tier 3 for 37 months. Josh Stola, 5 gifted. Simon for 25. 27? It says resubscribed for 27. They've been subscribed for 25 months. That's odd, but thank you. And Lesh, thank you for gifting Shibato a sub as well. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I was, just before this, I ate food and I was watching something. I always watch something while I eat food. So I was watching something and, Wolfie got on me. And I finished eating my food and I was like, okay, well, this episode of this thing I'm watching is going to be done in like 5 minutes. So, you know. Surely by then he'll get up. And I was sitting. I sit on like a floor chair because I have a kotatsu, right? Kotatsu's not turned on or anything. I didn't have it turned on for warmth. It's a little warmer today, so it's fine. So I'm just sitting there, you know. And he likes to sit, so I like slide down on purpose. So my knees and my shoulders are like same height, right? And there's like a U shape or a V shape where like my stomach is, you know? And he just gets on there. And he's, you know, I'm small. He's kind of a big boy. He puts his butt like around where my chest is. And then he puts his face on like my legs. And he just like a hammock. He gets in that dip, you know? He loves it. He loves it. So he gets in there. And he puts his head, so I've got my legs like, imagine if you're sitting straight-legged and you just pick your knees up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that. Like they're just up a little, but my knees are like together. In that space right in between there, where kind of dips, where your legs meet, he like shoves himself there like a hot dog between 2 buns. You know what I mean? Like he puts his upper body all in there and he sticks his head out and his neck out and he just like in a straight line, just like a hot dog, you know, he's in there. He sticks one arm out forward like to where my knees are and like just rests his paw there. And he's just long, you know, and he's got his tail in my face. He's spanning from my knees all the way up to my face and he's just stretched out, you know. He was so comfortable and I was like, okay, Wolfie, it's time to get up because the episode of the thing finished. And I like grabbed him under the midsection. I started picking him up and he took his arms and he just latched onto my leg. He just like held around my legs like he would not let go, you know? And I was like, come on. And I'm laughing, you know, I'm like, come on, Wolfie. And I'm pulling him off and I'm trying to pry him away. And he's like grabbing, he's like re-gripping, you know, and like trying to like stay on. So I just went, okay. And I just let him stay for a bit. I just laid there because he normally like he'll, you know, they'll grab on a little as you pull them away and you just kind of undo their claws and they'll just get off, you know. But he was grabbing. He had his arms around my leg entirely and I was like, okay. I don't know. He does this a little bit, but he was so adamant about it and I was like, you know what? You take a little rest, take 5, you know, do what you gotta do. So I left him to sleep for a bit. And I closed my eyes. I was like, fuck it. Whatever. So yeah, he just sat there and slept and I ended up just like watching another episode of something while I waited for him. I don't know. Keep hearing Giga say shrimp in my head like she did in Jabroni Mike's stream. What? Shrimp? I love shrimp. One of my most favorite foods. Favorite protein. Besides lamb. But for some reason, one of my brothers says scrimps because he just likes saying it like that. Another one says shrimp. Scrampy, yep. Shrimp scrampy. Yeah, I don't like them boiled that much either. I don't like them much. They should be pan-seared. They should be pan-seared every time. But yeah, no, I got these verbal tics, you know, we all do. That most of them are like me and my brothers saying shit weird. Or like if one of us accidentally said something weird once, we say it like that forever. Forever. We have some verbal tics we've been saying for, decades, absolute decades that, one of them is shrimp. Let me get some of shrimp. Or scramps. Or I always, one of my brothers, he'll be serving food, right? He makes food and he's like, here, come get it or whatever. And as I take it, I always go, can I get that for free? Because he used to be a server and there was a lady who would come in and always ask him for this one salad. And she'd be like, could I get scrimps on that? She would say scrimps. Can I get scrimps on that? And he'd be like, I guess. Like, there's no reason why I can't put anything on a salad if they ask. She said, all right, if you're willing to pay the whatever number of dollars. And she'd be like, okay, all right, can I get that for free? And she would ask this like weekly. She would come in and ask every week if she could get shrimp for free on a salad. That had nothing to do with shrimp, by the way, initially. And he would always be like, I could give you the scrimps. I can't do the free one. But it turned into, since then, anytime he gives me food, can I get that for free? No. Is that scrimps? I don't know. Yeah, she was on the hustle, I guess. She felt very strongly about it. Said your brother infected you with a song he would sing back when you were much younger, which was just him saying poopy in the doopy in a sing-songy way. Poopy in the doopy. That's pretty good. Poopy in the doopy is like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That stuff's top tier. I had this game I used to play with, I was talking about it during Thanksgiving with a bunch of my cousins. We used to play this one game that we made up, and we had lore books. We had years of world building on this fucking game that we played. But the game included the youngest of all of our cousins. He was like a lizard, and he wasn't allowed to talk. We didn't let him talk. He could only like hiss and growl because he was a stupid lizard, and it was part of our game. We thought it was so fun. In hindsight, I'm like, holy shit. We like every time we played this game, we were like, shut up. We wouldn't let him talk. But we were kids. We didn't have like the wherewithal to, Oh, it was so funny. So every now and then we'll be, we've been adults for some time, but he'll walk into a doorway that's like dark and none of us will notice. I'll walk past the door and he'll just go like hiss from the door. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. He's been an adult for a long time, for the record, even if he's the youngest of the cousins. It's crazy. He was a fucking lizard and he lived in like the dirt. It was I still remember everything about this game we played too. It was like a full-on role-playing whatever. And we were all in on it. The adults had no idea what the fuck we were doing. Every single kid knew all the lore, man. That like generation of cousins. But hey, that's what you do when you don't have stuff, Kids these days have iPads. We used to make our younger cousin act like a lizard. Okay? Kids these days don't get it. Thinking back, it's so stupid. We were like, you're a lizard. You can only hiss. We also made him crawl on the floor. We didn't let him like run normally. When we played this game, we were like, you have to, your belly got to be on the ground, dude. Belly to the ground. He'd get up too much and we'd be like, you're not a dog. You don't stand up straight like that. Your legs go out, bro. We'd correct him and he'd have to crawl around on the floor. Oh, it's so stupid. One time you asked your sister if she wanted to play tiger and then you full on bit her. Oh, I got a bite story actually that my mom tells me a lot. She said one of my brothers when he was little used to bite all the time. Which I vaguely remember. I don't remember too much. She said he used to bite, and he was the only one of the kids that did that. And she was like, what the fuck? So she bit him back. Obviously not hard enough to like hurt him badly, but she bit him back one time so he could understand that like human bites, are a thing. And he was like, kid not really hurt, but is shocked, so they start crying. She bit him. She was like, see that? Teeth hurt. And he never bit again. He never did it ever again. I love when kids do that. Like, nothing happened, but they're just like, And the thing is, like, when you know a kid really well, you could tell the difference between them actually crying because it hurts versus crying because they just are, like, they don't know what reaction to have. They just think it's generally negative, and they don't have that nuance. So they're just like, I think I do this now. And then they, like, kind of fake cry. You can tell it's fake because you redirect them and they immediately go, oh, okay. And they stop. Oh, man. Pause after they get bonked while they consider the reaction. Yeah. My mom used to always say to me, if I like paused and then reacted, she'd be like, you paused, it's not real. It means you thought about it. You had time to think, you got time to make it better. She would always say that. You got time to think? All right, you got time to assess what's going on. It was good. Emotional reactions are learned. It's not like you don't feel emotions, but the way you outwardly express it is learned. Very much so. Absolutely. I notice it all the time with myself. I talk about it sometimes. Where I say, like, sometimes people, like, they have this outward reaction that I don't have in the same situation, and they're like, are you not feeling emotion? And I'm like, yeah, I am. I just, when I fell and scraped my knee as a kid, my mom wasn't like, oh my God, cry it out. She was like, hey, is it that bad? Does it actually hurt that much? And I'd be like, nah, it's, it's fine. She'd be like, all right, let's put some on it. You know what I mean? Like, all right, what can we do to move on, kind of thing. When pets feign injury to get snacks. Dude, my dog used to do it all the time. She would pick up her leg and start hobbling around, and I'd be like, what is going on? Oh my God, no. And then she'd be like, oh, my paw, it hurts so bad. And then she'd hobble over to where the snacks were and stare at them and then look at me. But she wouldn't move her head. She'd just move her eyes, with the dog eyebrows. So she'd, like, look at snack, look at me, look at snack, look at me. And I'd be like, put your foot down. And I would say, put your foot down, and she would put her foot down. She knew. Your dog would do that on walks and make you carry her. Oh my God. My dog didn't make me carry her because she was mostly border collie. So she was, like, insane and wanted to sprint everywhere. She did not want to be carried. She didn't mind being carried, but she, like, wanted to walk and run, So thankfully she didn't do that, but yeah, I love the dog's shifty eyes. They are my favorite with the eyebrows. Oh, I really do miss having a dog. I used to, when I was younger, I used to always be like, I'm a dog person. I always had a dog and a cat, or a dog and another pet. But lifestyle-wise, I don't want one right now. But if I see someone else's dog, I'm petting that dog. I go to a party, the household has a dog. I'm lying down on the floor in the corner with the dog the whole night. You're not seeing me, People during, like, get-togethers will, like, bring me food. They'll be like, there's food, by the way, because I'm just laying down next to the dog, petting the dog. You just gotta, man. You just gotta. Anyway, it's Wednesday. We got a bunch of stuff happening this weekend at Hallmat. I don't know if I will... Is she waking up this? Shut up! I'm on my main channel. What do you mean? When have you seen me playing No Pixel on my main channel? When I was playing it every day for 9 months? No longer. Nope, we're doing variety. I have a bunch of stuff this weekend. I'm not sure when I'll stream. I think we're gonna do a Sunday stream. My event stuff is Friday, Saturday, which I don't usually stream on this channel Friday, Saturday anyway. That's usually like my weekend. So I don't think it'll affect the stream schedule. But I do have a lot of meet and greets and all sorts of stuff. And I might do some off-stream walkarounds, actually, with Oscar. I don't know if any of you are going to HallMat, but Oscar will be one of the people manning my booth, actually. Oscar, we love Oscar. He's going to be helping with the booth, like, physically. I asked if he would be staff. So he'll be there. So if you're going, you can say hi to Oscar. You can say hi to Oscar. I want to say something though. I've you know, no offense to all Matt. I told them a billion times since the beginning this has been the GEEGA booth. And I put like Matara on the booth because she's gonna be pretty active with me in some stuff. And I've got some of her merch there, right? So I started calling it the GEEGA X Matara booth when sending them, you know, the name of the booth and all that. They started writing the Matara X GEEGA booth everywhere. So if you're looking for it, and everything in the guidebook is alphabetical, by the way, and you were like, it's not under G, I don't see it. It's because they keep writing it the other way around, which is crazy because it's my booth. But, you know, someone got it wrong once and they just have not fixed it in print anywhere. And it's, I've been saying it the whole time. It's like, it's not a 50-50 booth. It's like mostly mine, you know what I mean? And then I like gave her space at it. I'm like, brother, please. People are going to be looking for G when they look through the guidebook. It's not like a purposeful thing that they're doing or anything like that, you know, so I don't hate them for it, but it's just, I need to mention it to you guys because I know everyone's going to look for the booth and they're going to look for the letter G because it's the GEEGA booth, you know? But yeah, they were writing it starting with M for whatever reason. But yeah. And it's, you know, it's the week of, so I don't think there's any time to change it. I have been asking for a bit, but whatever. So just so you know, if any of you are going and you're like, I don't see the booth, like, where is it? It might be the name swapped. But it is my booth. I am printing her on the side though, as well. I'm putting a giant, you know, cut out of her and stuff. It's a whole thing. We're going to have standees of a bunch of the people that are there. It'll be fun. I know some people have posted that they are going. Not all of them have posted the graphics, so anyone who doesn't post it today, I'm going to post on my Twitter. But I was going to get the images. And I was going to... Hold on, let me get my little list. Let me get my little list. Okay, the people that are going to be at the booth doing meet and greets, me, obviously, Matara. We're also going to have Grape, Limes, May, Nina, Joel, Zen, and Saikuno. I asked him I was like, have you ever done a VTuber meet and greet? Do you want to do one? And he was like, I've never done that. And I was like, let's do it. I thought it'd be really funny. But besides him, we have Joel, Zen, Nina, May, Limes, and Grape, and myself and Matara. I thought putting Saikuno on there would be really funny. I was like, you've never done a con as a VTuber? He was like, no. I was like, you just call in. You could go to so many cons. So, I said, fuck it. Oh, Joel, 44 seconds ago, posted his. I will be there, sat and ready. That's me replying to him on Twitter. But yeah, Rip and Nina. Yeah, I posted in the Girls FC Cord. And I was like, guys, who wants to do the booth? Who wants to do the booth? But yeah, I'm excited. It's a really, really, really fun lineup. The people that run those conventions would love to have Saikuno. Hey, no offense to cons and stuff, but like creators themselves are the ones with the biggest pull to get people to show up to events. So if I do a booth, my booth is always going to have a crazy lineup, like an insane one. compared to like a medium small con, just trying to pull guests for a meet and greet. Because the thing is, like, they give me their time, I will give them my time. You know what I mean? A con can't really give you much. Sometimes they can pay. For me, for Hallmet, they're being really generous and they're giving me the booth. There's still a lot of costs associated. Like, they're giving me the booth as in they're giving me a physical space. I still have to pay for everything that goes in that square. You know what I mean? So, like, so I'm still paying money to make the booth happen, but I'm not paying them at least the fee to get the spot. In exchange, you know, I'm doing all these little event things at it and stuff. So it's fun. But we'll have a bunch of stuff. We'll have a bunch of these people here at meet and greets. We're doing one that's me and Matara together also. We're doing a panel, but I'm also doing a meet and greet with me and her if anyone wants to talk to, like, both of us. And then I'm doing a separate one. But yeah. Actually, oh, I needed to message Limes. Okay. Yeah, I was shifting people's time slots around a little bit, just making sure it works. So I need to leave my DMs open so I don't forget. Because sometimes I'll stream, but people are asking me like a time-sensitive question, and I'm like, oh, I love Skate Story, you know? And they're like, I need to know this thing. So I'm gonna leave that open on the side, just in case. Just in case. Most cons aren't super profitable. Yeah, no. Cons are not crazy profitable. Even doing these booths, it's not super profitable. I just want to cover the booth cost. And actually, if you are going, we're going to be doing a raffle on, not a raffle, an auction on Sunday afterward for all of the standees, for anyone who wants to take a standee home, because they do cost me something. So I'll start them, you know, like a little under or near what they cost me. And then any extra money that is made from those auctions will cover the costs of the booth itself. Or I'll put it toward that. But yeah, I'm going to do that Sunday. We were looking into doing some of it remotely too. Instead of just doing it in person, making it so that people at home also can bid if they want one of the standees. Because they do pack up and can be shipped. Which I thought would be fun because we do these like standee auctions at every booth typically, but it's only for the people that are physically there, which I think is fun. But I wanted to offer it because people at home that can't go to cons never get that chance to get like the stupid cardboard cutout, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're still like setting it up, but I believe we're gonna do that. I believe we are going to do that, so I'm gonna check with my staff there and make sure. There is a chance that we say, oh, you know, I don't like using this system, we're just gonna do it there, but I think we're gonna do it online as well, so that'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. I don't know, I like in-person events. I like doing stuff. I like doing stuff. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. And we won't have a Texan auctioneer, no. But we will have... There's also going to be a stand with a bunch of cheeky stuff on it and one with, like, power GPU stuff. I went to my, like, long-term sponsors and said, hey, you know, I've got this booth, you know, and if we want to do something there, you know, like, let me know. So we're going to have some presents from them there as well, which will be really cool. And we'll have some neat reveals and all this stuff, and I'm sure you'll see me posting about it on Twitter, but I'm excited. Aren't digital or remote conventions a thing? People do that. The only way you can do that is in VR chat for it to feel like a convention, though. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of people watching videos from the comfort of their home, which is what? A live stream, you know? But there are VR chat worlds that people make for conventions. That does exist. One sec. I'm giving Limes her new time slot. There we go. You bought the hoodie from the Mouse Collab? Nice, nice. Yeah, I can't wait to get my stuff. I have the blank one, the tester, so I know like what it will feel like. I have the exact product, but not like the full this version of the print. So I can't wait to get the full one. I really want it, man. I want my hoodie. I got super fun news. The most fun news in the world. I got a new plastic bin to put merch in. Because I have too much merch. I have too much merch. I have so much shit. I have so much shit. And I'm not much of a collector usually. But it's different when these people are like my friends. People that I know, you know? And it's like in my work atmosphere or environment, whatever, you know, it's totally different. So now I do have a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff. And I don't want to have that much stuff. But a lot of it I don't want to give away. Some of it I do want to keep. So I'm currently struggling with like, what do I keep and what do I not? For example, my own merch. I have my Boris coaster. I have like 10 of them. Do I need 10 of them? Do I really need 10 of them? Like 5 is good number. 6, you know, 4 even. 2. If we're just talking about me, I only need 1. But, you know, if I'm having people over, a couple is okay. That's fine. But do I need 10? On top of that, the challenge coin pin. I've got, holy fuck, I have so many of those. I have so many. I want 1 silver and 1 gold, and I don't need more. So I have a bunch of them. So I'm like, what do I do with this? I can give some to some friends, maybe, but I have too much shit. So I got a new plastic bin for a closet to nicely and neatly store those things in boxes inside one big bin. And then I have a section of it that's like, this is fine to give away and this is not. And I was thinking about like maybe signing some of it and having like random exclusive signed shit at booths. I thought that would be cool. But then I don't tell you exactly what it's going to be. So if I have a booth at a convention, you just go there and maybe I give you like a secret menu password and then you'd be like, let me get the Glorpa juice. And then it's like, oh yeah, here you go. And it's like a signed pin. You know what I mean? We're out of Glorpa juices. We already gave the 5 away. Or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. So we'll see. But I feel like that's the best thing to do with it. Blind grab bag type thing. Well, I wouldn't do blind grab bag type thing in the way you're thinking. Kind of sort, I guess. Yeah, because the person doesn't know what they're getting, right? I think it'd be cool. One day it's just going to be like a used sock signed and only one sicko can have it. But the thing is, the sicko doesn't know it's going to be at that convention. So like a normal person buys it. It's going to be, you know, random possessions that I want to get. What if that's what I do for actual random possessions that I don't want anymore? Right? Like just crap from my home that I don't want. Some plastic cup I've had for like 10 years but never used. I just sign it and send it to a booth and I'm like, yo, if someone comes in and says this password, give it to them. I think that'd actually be so funny. And then people can get random rare items. Miniature flea market? Oh, well, that's what you think. That's what you think. I think it could be really funny. It could be real funny. People could get mad if they've trash in there. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If I say on stream, like, I'm going to give you random crap, you might get something stupid, and then they get random crap, and they're like, I'm mad. I mean, you know. I don't know, man. Then like I don't. At that point, you know, they have full warning. You can't care about that, right? You know. But we'll see. We'll see. Depends if they hear it on stream. I don't think you're understanding the whole thing here. They would only know what to go and say if they heard it on stream, so it doesn't matter. And I might not even do it on stream. We'll see. But I have ideas. I have lots of ideas. But especially, you know, a big thing too is I get a lot of PR packages from games. And a lot of them, like, it's cool that they're giving me stuff, but I'm not so much of a fan of the game that I want to have, you know, all these different items with the logo from it on it and everything. It should go to someone who actually likes the game that much, you know? I'm not really, like, a fan, right? Where, like, every game I like, I want to wear stuff that's covered in that. So I end up with a lot of stuff that I just wouldn't wear, or I just wouldn't, like, bring around with me or whatever. But a lot of the time the products are cool and they're rare because they only give you those in PR packages, you know? So I've thought about that and I'm like, that would be a good thing to give to booths too, is like sign a random PR package item. Like one that I don't know if I'll give away. They gave me like Monster Hunter sent me this huge PR package and I got like a cool leather pouch, like an actual leather bag with the branded on it, like using heat and cured, branded on it Monster Hunter logo, and it looks cool as fuck. If I wasn't a big Monster Hunter fan, I'm not gonna throw that away. I'm not gonna throw it in Goodwill. I'm gonna give it to someone who wants it, right? So if I get like cool PR stuff like that, but it's something I don't want because I'm like not a fan of the thing, which I am of Monster Hunter, so I'm keeping that. But you know, stuff like that, I'm like, that would be really cool to maybe like auction off at the booth and just cover booth costs or something, you know? Or maybe just give away, depending on what it is. You've seen some streamers give stuff away like that for charity. Yeah, I'm the charity, okay? I don't make the money that some people make. So I'll let it cover booth costs because I shell out for that. I shell out for that. I'm not really doing it as a big moneymaker. I'm doing it as like a fun thing for the community, you know? So I at least want it to pay for itself. So I think that'd be cool. That'd be neat. Auction off that drone from that one game. Oh yeah, that drone. Oh my god, Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye gave me a drone. Yeah. You go to cons IRL? I don't physically go. I don't physically go. I send a bunch of people with instructions, and they video call me constantly to show me as they're, you know, setting it up and bringing it down. I organize everything operationally. I tell them what I want, and they do it. And then I will physically be there on an iPad with like Oscar carrying me around for walkarounds or during meet and greets and stuff. So that's what I'll be doing. That's what I'll be doing. That game was awful. I actually see the vision for that game. It wasn't executed right, but I saw the vision.
Money, henya, heart.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to be crazy rich. I just want to take care of myself and my mom, you know? So I want my booths to, like, you know, at least make their money back, things like that. That's all I really care about. But I don't really want, you know, to go crazy on it. The game gave you a drone? Yeah. Mind's Eye had an insane budget for their PR packages. I don't know, man. I genuinely, I didn't hate my time playing that game. There were things about it that, like, it didn't run well. It didn't run well. But sitting there and physically playing it, I didn't actually have a bad time. It was just so, like, yeah, it was broken. It was very broken on release. So, like, honestly, it's a shame because I feel like if it wasn't broken, it might have actually been fine. I really didn't think the game was that bad on paper, you know? But then you open it and yeah, it runs like shit. Like, you can kind of play it, but I don't know. It also was, for whatever reason, some parts of it were less broken for me than others. So there were certain, like, things that worked, certain scenes that I was able to see or navigate through just fine. And then other people, I checked their streams and it didn't work for them. So I think also hardware was a factor. So I think I also just kind of got lucky. Because I was like, you know, it wasn't great amazing because stuff was broken, but it wasn't as broken as people are saying. People are saying it's unplayable, but I played it, you know? And I was confused, and then I looked at other streams and I was like, oh wow, some people like like they actually could not run the game. They're playing it like it was a full slideshow, you know? So that was just odd. That was odd. They should have just pushed it back. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Lead dev says there was a hate campaign against it by a third party. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Now, do I think it still deserved criticism? Yeah. But I don't think it was as bad as people said. And I think there being, you know, a little hate campaign against them was probably also a factor. At the same time, yeah, they didn't do themselves favors. At the same time, like, they left themselves open to it. So I think it was both, is my guess. I don't know. I forgot people online love to be hyperbolic. No, not just that. I think, look, the director of that game used to be the guy that directed every GTA up until 6. He's not on 6. And this game was getting really hyped up as like, oh, it's going to be like the next one. The guy who made all those good games is now making a different game. He's not at that company anymore. He's in a new one. You know what I mean? There's a lot of reason to believe that people might be like, you know? So that's why I'm like, I actually don't doubt it. I don't think it was necessarily the whole company running that, though. I think it was more so likely individuals, you know? But I don't know. Overall, like, it could have been a good project, but it turned out just kind of, Not really. Not really. But they were really nice. I just think their shit was unfinished. That's all. I feel like it was finished, like, like on their build, you know? And then as far as doing QA, testing everything, making sure it works on everyone's machine, making sure things are optimized in general, all of that, I feel like they just didn't do that straight up. Like, it straight up felt like they didn't get to that stage. And they just had to send it. Which I have no clue whose idea that was. That could have been them being beholden to shareholders. I'm guessing that they did it because here's what I think. I think we thought at the time that GTA 6 was going to come out by a certain time. And my guess is the shareholders and the people like up in the higher seats, not the ones actually making the game, were telling them you have to get it out X number of months before GTA 6. Because this is made by the GTA guy, right? Initially. Etc., etc. And my guess is that they fucking crunched them and rushed them and they had to put out a rush project. And then what happens? Oh, it's delayed. GTA 6 delayed. You know? But yeah, I don't know. It's just a situation where I look at it and I'm like, I feel like there were so many places along the way, along the path, that this could have been diverged, right? It didn't have to turn out this way. I don't know. I don't know, man. Is what it is. It is what it is. Lead mod role got launched. Yeah, finally. I've been wanting them to do that, or I just want, like, not one singular lead mod. I want to be able to make my own, like, Discord roles, you know? Make roles, give them individualized permissions and permission sets. Yeah, and put them in tiers, yes, because if you have someone who's new to modding, if you could just give them, like, not the keys to the castle, you know, you give them, like, a couple responsibilities, see how they do, that's huge. But instead, it's just like mod or not mod, you know? So I'm glad they added something, but I wish we had full-on, like, checklist permissions. But yeah, I'll set up a lead mod probably soon. I don't know how they work. They made it so that you can set one person up as a lead mod, and they get a hammer instead of a sword. And they can ban the other mods. they can unmod somebody. They can manage the VIP list. They can do a lot of tools that like only the streamer could touch for permissions. They're able to touch, not like everything, but some stuff. Which is huge because there's a lot of stuff that like I wish the mods could midstream just adjust, but they can't. I have to go onto my dashboard and press a button, but the button isn't a big deal. You know? I'm like fine with mods having some of these buttons. So, yeah. Yeah. You hate that they removed the ability for mods to delete other mods or their own messages. I know. Like ban other mods and add remove. Which is huge. I think every streamer needs to have at least one, preferably more, but at least one mod they can trust to that level to be able to on the spot be like, fuck, this person's doing something weird. I gotta prune them right now, you know? And you can always add people back later, but like, I think for people's safety, that's huge. There are a lot of streamers out there that aren't as careful as we are here or in other communities, and they just mod whoever. They mod whoever seems helpful. And they don't vet them and their intent and all that kind of stuff. And stuff gets weird. Stuff gets weird really easily. So, yeah, I think it's good to be able to have like one or two people that can do that kind of stuff, personally. They can delete streamer comments. Yeah, which I think is actually good. I think it's good because, let's say I'm streaming. And mid-stream, my shit gets like hacked, you know, which has happened to some people. Let's say mid-stream, someone yoinks my tokens somehow, and now they're in, and they start posting messages as if they're me in the chat, and it's like crazy. If the mods could help mitigate that situation, it'd be huge. Imagine one person sitting there being like, "Oh fuck," trying to like handle that, you know. I think it's good that mods can, you know, do that kind of stuff. It should be allowed. Or something, it should be something that you can allow them to do if you want as a streamer. But yeah, it's good. But like, how long does it take to make and launch these features, really? How long does it actually take? I feel like we've been asking for this for like 8 years. Oh man, it's so much. It's so much. Yeah, we need 300 devs to make this feature. I don't know. I feel like when they announce that they want to do a feature and then they start working on it and then they ship it out, I feel like this shit takes like a year. A year for a basic feature that I know how many hours of work that should be. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Is automod any decent? It is. I actually have automod on. And it's on very lightly and only in certain categories. I like that they make it by category. But if someone comes in and is like, "You're a fucking bitch," and you have the like, don't make fun of me because of my gender one on, it detects like, especially when people are mean to someone for being a woman or, you know, vice versa. And if it sees someone type like, "You're a bitch" in the chat, it might be like, "Oh," and automate it and hold it, which is nice. It's nice that it catches stuff instead of it all being seen and then deleted, you know. There's a lot of stuff you guys don't see because some random will come in and type some crazy wacko shit, you know, and automod just catches it. It filters it, so you guys never see it. Which is nice. Really good. So they have mod permissions properly scoped out in the bot API. They just don't have the UI for real mods. Classic. That's what I'm saying. Like, it shouldn't take them any hours for them to just fucking add a role maker. Please. Just copy Discord's homework. It wouldn't even be hard. Like, I know it's there. When you were at Twitch, your manager knew not to put too many people in the projects you were working on because they just go slower? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You, honestly, having like one or two devs on a feature, usually just one, makes sense, right? You have a couple people on a project to get these features made, pushed out. You know, sometimes you need someone who handles more of the front end, whatever. But like you should be able to do these things with micro teams. Micro teams. Putting 20 devs on a feature doesn't make it go faster because it's not like they can all work on the same shit at the same time, man. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, too many cooks. Do you have a list of the words the auto mod can detect? What, you want the list? I'm not giving you my special list. As far as what it can detect, no, go find it. I'm sure it's somewhere. I'm sure it's somewhere, dude. Fit, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, just I don't know how it works. And I don't know what exactly it mods every time and why it chooses some things. Sometimes it sees some shit and it's like, oh, that sentence seems like the person's making fun of you for being a woman. I'm gonna hold that in automod. You know, and it's not just by word. That's just a blacklist versus whitelist of words, right? It's not like that. It is actually detecting sentence structure as well and trying to decide if you're just saying a word or if you're calling someone a thing, etc., etc. So it's one step beyond just a list of words, which is why I think Automod's pretty good. It often detects stuff that I'm like that in context was fine, but yeah. So I don't think there really is an exact list because it's a little more fluid than that. So yeah. Yeah. There's some words that get automated here because I just don't like the word. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just am like, I hate it. You know, some people hate the word moist, for example. They're like, I hate the word moist, which I don't really care about that word. It doesn't make me feel like icky or whatever, but some people do. So they'll get that word to be like automated out. I'm like that with some words, so I do have them like automated. So you can just add stuff to your own ban list too, which I think is good. Can we ban Jira? Maybe we should. Sometimes words can be spammed to annoy the streamer. Yeah, I have some stuff banned here that's like you know, one thing that we do here and there is like when some other streamer has some meme that I don't know about because I don't sit there and watch them all the time, and then people keep spamming it here, I just automod it. I just automod it. I go, I don't know what that is, and I'm not trying to learn. Boom, and I just automod. And sometimes I do learn what it is. It's no offense to that streamer. I'm just like, I don't fucking know what this is. Get rid of it. Yeah, like I don't have Bow Bow like automated, but that's an example. Some people might be like, I don't know what that is, and someone goes like, oh, it's from these two VTubers, their dog. Some people are like, I don't care, you know. And if they see enough times, they will just like, you know, yeah. Did you like it? I don't even like. I kind of vaguely know what that is, but not really. Like people spam it, and I'm just like, okay. It just kind of means nothing to me. I don't hate it or anything. I haven't removed it because people don't spam it too much, but when there's some sort of like meme or inside joke that I'm not really like that much of a part of that people spam, some of them, it's one thing if it's a meme that's like really well known, but when it's specific to like 2 or 3 streamers, sometimes I'll just get rid of it. Oh, is it from Mouse? The thing is, lots of people say that. And I know what like tonality you're talking about too. So when I first saw it, I didn't look at it and go, oh, that sounds like something Mouse would say, because that sounds like a thing a lot of people would say. So I don't know why it became a Mouse thing, but I don't think that's bad. I just when I read it, like now I know, but before, like when I didn't really know why people were typing it, I was just like, I could think of, you know, 50 people that that it could have been from, you know. So I remember being so confused when people like first started spamming it in chat because I was like, this could be anybody. I don't know. I think it's fine though. Yeah, we don't have that one made. But a lot of the ones that are like really specific, I'll do it. And it's also not always for me so much as it is for the other streamers, because Something that's happened several times is someone spams something in my chat. The rest of the chat starts spamming it. It's a meme I don't get. And I'm like, what is that? And they go, oh, it's from so-and-so. And I go, oh, okay. Right? Oh, okay. And then sometimes that streamer will start like posting on Twitter or saying in Discords that we're like friends in or whatever. And they'll be like, I'm sorry if you keep seeing this thing. It's my chat. I'm telling them to not spam it in other people's chats, but they keep doing it. Like, it's supposed to be an inside joke, and they just, like, spam it in other chats and confuse streamers, and it's getting annoying. And when people say stuff like that, I will ban it in my chat. So if you ever see, like a meme specific to one streamer that's banned in this chat, usually it's because that person on the back end is like, I'm sorry, I was trying to get people to stop spamming it elsewhere, and they won't stop. So I just take they take the inside joke outside, exactly. So I'm like, don't worry, I'll do my part. And then I ban it in the chat. So if you're ever trying to type like some specific streamer meme in here and it doesn't work, that's why. Yeah, because the thing is, like, inside jokes, I don't know. I think, like, it's not like it's super unfunny to say it somewhere else, but it definitely, like, ruins the magic. It ruins the magic of it, like, you know, being an inside joke for your community. It doesn't feel like it's yours anymore. Everyone used to spam cease here, and then they would just spam it in every chat until everyone added the emote. Boom. And in like 2 months, it was just boom, it's gone. You know what I mean? Yeah, cease was started here, yes. Yes, I was not the first streamer to ever have that emote, but this was the chat that all started in, was like any VTuber, if you see people spamming that emote or you see that they have their own cease emote, it's because this chat was using it. But people went and spammed it in other chats anytime they saw anybody. At first it was only when it was me, and then they started like spamming it. Like you see here, they're spamming it at Heavenly, right? They started doing it like everywhere, and then boom, that's it. You saw another streamer get super confused by it. They thought chat was telling them to stop. That's why I was telling people to not spam it in other chats, because the word cease means to stop. And if they don't have... Here's the thing. If they had the 7TV emote activated in their chat and they just saw a face, I didn't care. But people would type it, all 5 letters, all caps, in another chat, and the person wouldn't have the emote. But everyone would type the word anyway. And I'd be like, they don't know what this is. Stop. And they wouldn't stop. So I said, all right, fuck you guys. All right, confuse everyone. Be weird. That's whatever. You know, that's your decision, I guess. And then they would just be like, what's wrong with these chatters? You know what I mean? It just like genuinely, the thing is, it wasn't even like a really bad experience or anything. It just genuinely confused streamers, and they thought they were being told to stop. And they were like, what is happening? And it would make them uncomfortable, because it would make them think they did something wrong, and then they'd have to sit there and figure out what's happening and wait for a chatter to explain it. And then it's just someone going, actually, it's this like emote in GEEGA's chat, and like it looks like a guy screaming, and when we see someone, we use it to scream. You know? And I'm like, this whole situation is awkward and weird. You know? Like, it's one thing if they could see the emote. If they could see it, then like you totally avoid that, right? But like people just type the word all caps and there would be no emote, and I'd be like, guys, stop. Like, they don't. And then, you know, honestly, it wasn't really this chat that was doing it. I said, hey guys, this is happening, and you guys went okay, and a lot of you stopped. It was other chats that had already picked it up that started doing it, and I was like, oh my god, now they're gonna think it's my chat that's in other chats typing this word all caps. But like you guys, I'd already said, hey, this awkward thing keeps happening, and you guys were like, oh, okay, you know. And then at that point I was like, all right, I now have no control over that situation, right? I was just like, oh man. You've come across a couple streamers that ban chatters for that reason of introducing awkwardness in other chats via inside jokes. Yeah, it's such a like a specific scenario, but it happens a lot, and it makes it awkward for people. So I'm just like, ugh. Marco asked what cease was the other day in Mouse's chat. Anytime I collab with someone, they're like, what is that? Literally anytime I collab with anyone. They go, what is this? And I go, it's this emote that we started using a long time ago. Everyone uses now, and it looks like a guy screaming. And I have to go through the whole thing, and I have to relive it. You know, I have to relive it. I have to re-describe it every time, man. I don't mind it here though. I'm like, it's so funny in this chat because it's always been an emote, you know. I don't know. I don't know. It's one thing if they're on mobile. If they're on mobile, then like, totally different situation, you know? But I think the good thing is that eventually a lot of people just added the emote. So when someone's like, what does that mean? They type it, they just see an emote. They're like, oh, it's an emote, okay. You know? So Sisyphean torment for streamers. Constantly repeating explanations for stuff. Yeah. Yup. Oh, yeah. I dropped the thing. No, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I feel like a broken record. I have to re-explain things. People ask me the same questions over and over, but you're live, you know? So it's like normal. Every streamer does this. Yeah, new people come in every day, exactly. But it definitely makes you feel like you're going crazy a little bit. It definitely makes you feel like you're going a little nuts. Because you're sitting there re-explaining the same thing or having the same conversation. But, you know, half of your chat was there for the last time you talked about it, and the other half isn't. So you're like, shit, I gotta do the thing. Uh-oh. You know? So, it is what it is. It's part of the job. Yeah, that's why you don't understand anyone that wants to be a teacher. The thing is with a teacher, you know that these kids you're teaching haven't heard this. But with your chat, you know that some of them have and some of them haven't. And you don't know, you can't quantify how many have heard this before and how many have not. So you're guessing. And then that creates a doubt in the back of your mind. So as you're talking about a topic you've talked about 2 other times in the past month, you're wondering to yourself while you're speaking, you're going, how many of these people have heard this before? And do they fucking care? Am I actually explaining this to people that need it? Or do 90% of them already know and they're not saying anything, right? Like the back of your mind, you have that little thought and you're like, oh God, oh no, right? Get these existential thoughts. The waves of dread wash over you. Most people need reminders. It's true. It's true. Got used to it as an adjunct. But that's why I just go on autopilot, honestly. If I'm saying something that I've said before, I kind of just black out. I kind of just black out and say the thing I've said before, and then it's over, and then I'm just like, well, anyway. So, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's normal. You get used to it. I don't know. People really do ask the same questions over and over. There's someone who messaged me recently and was actually like, saying that they had wanted to make some sort of, like, they're not married to this idea of being in any specific format yet, but they were just throwing around the idea of making some sort of structured thing, course, series of videos, I don't know, anything. And they were like, I want to do this on how to be a VTuber, but it goes from like stuff that's structured as basics all the way up to stuff that's considered like more advanced. And they're like, I want to do it. And they were reaching out to me in case I'd be interested in doing it. And I said to them, hey, if you want to have me on to like explain a thing once or twice, you know, all good. But I said, you could say all this all you want, but people need to help themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I could sit there until I'm blue in the face describing how to do a thing, but people still have to execute. I think you'll get more people watching those types of things that are interested in hearing you talk about it rather than people who are actually going to apply it. You know what I mean? So it's like interesting for them, but they're watching you as entertainment when you're talking about this stuff. They're not actually going to absorb and use it, right? And I was like, you should still make it because it's interesting, but you know, Yeah, Lita, horse water can't make a drink. And I do feel mean sometimes, but when someone asks a question in the chat, and I'm like, here's the answer, but you know, if you had to ask me, you're not gonna make it. Like, I feel mean saying these sorts of things, but I try to be realistic. I don't know. Maybe this is cynical of me, but I feel like with content, you either have it or you don't, if that makes sense. And no amount of like researching and educating yourself on how things work is really gonna make it work, because you have to have a baseline that works. It can make it better if you already have that baseline, but like it's not gonna make it work. Content is luck based. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not luck based. I'm saying it's actually skill based. Not that luck can't be on top of that, but I think it's skill based personally. But the problem is, I think a lot of those skills are soft skills built up over a lifetime, which is why if you're like 22 and you're like, I want to try this, you have to realize that you don't just have it unless you have life experiences built you up to that. So if you want to get it, you can't like research and read about things and just like get better within a month. You have to actually sit there and do it for like years to build that up. You know what I mean? And it's not to say like people can't make it, but like in a short time frame, you can't just read about it and then be like, I'm going to apply these things and be a good streamer, right? Like if you don't have those soft skills already built up from your life experience, then you have to build them. It's skill based, right? And then luck can be on top of that, right? Sometimes opportunities just show up in front of you, and that could be luck. But if you didn't have that skill set built up, you cannot take advantage of that luck, you know? So it doesn't matter. Luck does not matter unless you already have a skill set to a certain point, you know? That's personally what I feel on all of this. And there will be some creators that are not for me, and people will be like, how'd they get famous? It's all luck. They're so stupid. I hate them, whatever. But when I look at what they do, I'm like, no, they're appealing to an audience. You're just not in it. And they're actually really good at what they do, right? That's just how it is. Like all those dickhead streamers that are like, 17 and doing stupid shit, and you're like, I don't get how anyone likes this. There's an audience that they're appealing to perfectly. That's why they're doing well. It's just not you, right? You know?
Making good or bad content is a matter of skill. Achieving monumental success is luck, which can be helped if your content is good.
Yes and no. I actually think there's a lot of skill in that too. I think there's hard skills on the back end with the hustle, as we call it, that I think you can make it happen. I think luck is a very small part. I think a lot of things that people call luck was actually that person being very socially skilled, I guess we'll call it, or maybe not socially, maybe being very business savvy. I really think it's a small factor. Not saying there's none of it. Time and place is a thing. But I think it's such a small part of it. I think if you know what to do and you have the skills to do it, you can make it happen. It's just that so few people have that combination, you know? Because it's built up over time. You know? That's just how it is. Backdoor connections are where most popularity comes from. Yes and no. Yeah, it depends on the person. That's one type of it, for sure. There's a lot of it. I'd say in streaming, you do have more of a chance of just randomly being found than, than like standard Hollywood. I think standard entertainment is the spot where it's like, it's all who you know, right? You have to have baseline talent, but then 90% of being able to make it is who you know. I think in streaming, that can help, but there's, a more of an even playing field. They're absolutely the kingmakers. They're absolutely streamers up at the top that they can just bring any dickhead friend onto stream and people will start watching them. But that doesn't stay. That doesn't last for those people long term at all, unless they can back it up, make it work for them. So, or that one friend keeps dragging them onto stream over and over and over, which at that point, I'm not going to call that even luck. I'm just going to call that social advantage. Like, don't put that in the luck category, Luck is more of a properly random event, not one person drag you onto stream 1,000 times, you know? TV, you need to convince someone to actually put you on TV. Here, you can theoretically hit the go live button and pop off. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, you know, it's interesting because there's so many of these factors. So many of these factors. But the thing I've noticed is no matter what puts someone at the forefront, if they're not good, they're not good. You know what I mean? Yeah, you said me and the rest of his old viewers don't still watch Mike because of Vinny. Right. Like, he has his own audience because he is Mike and he's funny, right? And yeah, maybe you found him in a certain way, but you wouldn't have stuck. You wouldn't have stuck if he wasn't funny, right? If he wasn't a good streamer. So, you have to be naturally charismatic. Yeah, but what I'm saying is natural charisma comes to someone naturally because they've built it up as a skill over time. It's a soft skill. It's something you can get better at. Anyone can get better at. But it takes so much time. It's that 10,000 hours of practice type thing, you know? So it's, that's what I mean by, like, when someone's 20, some people just have it because maybe their whole life they've thought about how they sound to other people. They've thought about their voice. They speak a certain way. Maybe their parents taught them to speak articulately or not, or whatever. Maybe their family is just a bunch of comedians and they just like to crack jokes. Maybe someone else's family is more serious. You know, it's whatever. Your environment builds you up to be somebody. And for some people, their environment has gotten them into a spot where I think they'd make a great streamer, right? They have all these cool soft skills that can help. I don't think it's like just natural happenstance, right? But it seems like it's natural because someone who is 20 and is super charismatic will be standing next to someone who's 20 and is not charismatic, and they'll think that person naturally got that way. But realistically, it's a lot of socializing and exposure to certain types of media and your environment and all that, right? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Everything is a skill we can all theoretically grind. I believe so. Though I do think, also at the same time, there's some skills that are much easier to grind at certain ages, right? And once you're past a certain age, you're very set in your ways. Your personality is very set. It's very hard to change. So if your job involves a certain type of personality or how you speak or whatever, the older you are, the harder that is to change, right? But it also depends on the person, right? Some people are really malleable and they take direction well. You know, they can change a lot about themselves with a little effort and make it natural. Some people cannot. They are who they are. They are what they are, and there's absolutely no changing them. So, you know, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Said you feel bad for the naturally entertaining people who tried streaming and burned out on the constant tech problems. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's such a weird mix of skills that you need to be able to handle streaming. Because you could be really charismatic, but you could have no patience and you could have really, you know, no ability to deal with people teasing you or people talking to you in a way where like they know you, but they don't actually know you. And it makes it hard for you, right? This kind of stuff these are all factors in whether or not you can handle this exact job because it's so specific. Every job is a specific mix of things, but this one's a weird mix for sure. How did you describe charisma? I'm sure there's a definition somewhere that you can just look up. Makes you think about Peanut and how he blew up so fast. Well, he was just in Tarkov and didn't really blow up playing Tarkov, but I would say he had a good-sized community. But then he rode the wave of Arc Raiders. You know, the game came out and new people were checking out channels that they'd never checked out before because they were there just for the game. And he rode that wave, right? There you go. And it's not just right place, right time. It's someone who had been playing extraction shooters for years because he played Tarkov for so long. So hopping into Ark and kind of knowing what to do with an extraction shooter, there you go. Is this content for me? Not always, but I see the value, you know? I get it. So true. Nightbot, so true. Big streamer rating a tiny streamer doesn't mean they instantly get big. Yeah, I mean, it's like disappointing, but not a thing I'm not willing to accept. That, like, you know, I know me rating a friend does not mean I'm going to help them grow. When you rate somebody, you're like, I like this person or I like what they're doing. Hopefully this helps, right? And there are certain friends of mine that when I raid them, you guys stay in their chat. Not all of you, but, you know, a good number of people. And I will leave myself in that chat for hours sometimes, and I'll come back a couple hours later, and I still see some of my chatters chatting that aren't usually in that chat. Yay, great. There are other people, I'll raid them, and no one sticks. And that's fine. That's fine. But it's like, you know, I'm no stranger to that. Right? I'm no stranger to that, like, it's on that person to hold it, you know? It's just how it is. If it's the same game, you're more likely to stick. Yeah. Yeah. When I choose which person on my sidebar I'm going to raid, I'm usually going off of less who they are and more what they're playing. You know? I look at what they're playing and I either find something that is the same as mine or similar to what I was playing or something I know you guys would like, or something I'm personally interested in watching. I'll just raid for that reason. Or sometimes a really big shift. So let's say we just had like 5 hours of shit being so insanely loud. I'll be like, let's go to a calm stream. Everyone could use this right now, you know? And then I'll go to someone who's got like a nice calming voice and is like reading a book, you know? So I'll try to like think of what people might want in that moment. But yeah, it's all interesting. It's all interesting. And there are a lot of people that I'm friends with that I know. I'm friends with them. You guys may be like, oh, I like that person. Doesn't mean you want to watch them. Because if you watch me, then I have an idea of what kinds of content you might like. And sometimes a friend of mine will make wildly different content. And I'm like, yeah, they're not going to stay. If they like watching me, they're not going to like watching this person, right? That's okay. I'll still also raid them because they're my friends sometimes. But that's why I usually go more game-based or content-based when I raid. You know, because I know realistically some of my friends, like, it's just a different world, you know? Yeah, when an ASMR streamer raids Joel. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that shit's so funny. We'll be playing a game screaming, you know, something crazy's going on, someone raids. I'm like, oh, what were you doing? And they're like, we were playing cozy games. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because I'm playing Doom Eternal, you know? Like, it gets interesting. It gets interesting. Real interesting. But I don't know. Now I know so many people that I don't really raid outside of people I know anymore. I used to, because I didn't know as many people, you know, and I didn't want to raid the same 3 people every day. So I would look through the category I was in or an adjacent category and raid that way. Or when I was playing a lot of GTA, same thing. I was more likely to raid GTA streamers because I knew that the randoms that were there for the day, I would raid a VTuber playing variety and they'd be like, okay, and they'd leave. You know, like they weren't there for that. So sometimes you just gotta tailor it. I mean, he said everyone loves Joel. Not everybody loves his content, but everybody loves Joel. It's true. It's true. If I had to pick one person in this community to trust, if I had to like hand my social security card to somebody and be like, don't lose this, and I could only pick one streamer, I'd pick Joel. Like if there was somebody I trusted to not do anything fucky, unironically, I'd pick him over literally everyone else. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't also trust other people, but I know him. Yeah, he would be so stressed. He'd be so insanely careful, and he'd be so worried that he'd do something wrong that he would never do anything wrong because he'd check. I feel like he would really hate that. He would, exactly. And that's exactly why I'd pick him. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. He's a good, trustworthy person for sure. Stream idea? Yeah, I give him my social security card and stress him out. Put it in his pocket, and then he does a walk around, and he has to not lose it. What a fun stream idea. So fun. My God. My God. Great idea, guys. We'll just do that. Surely. Sounds like a Mr. Beast challenge. You know what? You know what I kept laughing at? Boostfur had us do his The Button game a bit ago, which is, you know, a game that he does, and he did it in Minecraft. And I was laughing because Frankie kept saying that, like, it sounded like when she was describing it to other people, they kept thinking that it was a Mr. Beast video that she was in. So she kept calling Boostfur Mr. Beast. And we all started saying it. So he would be like describing the event to us. And we'd be like, Mr. Beast, how do we do this? And he was like, I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not Mr. Beast. Okay, I'm just Boostfur. Oh, it was funny. It was funny. I think May and I had a really good chance of winning, honestly, if there wasn't a reset midway. But you know, we took it on the chin. We kept going. We just kept going. It was fun, though. I liked it. I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, Minecraft really is the right thing to do these types of mini games in. May didn't keep going. Well, she died to spiders in a cave, okay? She fucking died, and there was permadeath in that game, so yeah. Yeah. Who won in the end? Boostfur did. He was playing too. He won, and we were like, ooh, the organizer winning? Kind of cringe. We were making fun of him. We were making fun of him. It was fun, though. It was really fun. I liked the concept. We gave him a lot of ideas on like ways he could adjust the game for next time to balance it a little better, so we could actually, you know, make it like pop. But it was good. It was good. Very corrupt. But May and I, we were teaming because it's kind of a social game, right? So the idea was there's a button and there's an hour timer that starts, and we're all within this one area. There's like however many chunks that we're within in Minecraft, okay? And there's one button in the overworld. If you press the button, now you can start respawning. So if you die before you press the button, it's permadeath. So no dying before you press the button or you're gone, right? When you press the button, now that you've pressed it, you can now respawn if you're killed. The thing is, you can only press the button once. One time, and that's it. And then when the hour timer runs out, whoever is the last person to have pressed the button wins. So basically, you have to choose at some point to press the button and then try to defend it. You know? And you have to not die before you press it, or otherwise it's permadeath. And you have to not let anyone press the button after you press it. So what May and I were doing was we immediately teamed up. We're like, we want one of us to win. Social game, right? We immediately teamed up and ran away from everyone else so we didn't die. And we went down and we started farming up iron. We were basically speed running Minecraft, right? We were getting diamonds so we could get full diamond weapons and armor. We were like trying really hard to farm that as fast as we can. And then we also made like this dripstone lava thing with cauldrons so we could farm up lava, make a bunch of buckets, and we were gonna fill our hot bars with lava buckets. And that was the goal, was to just burn a bunch of shit around people. That was what we were gonna do. So we were farming up pretty well. We were doing great. And then Boos had to reset something, which was fine. We all said, yeah, okay, please reset that thing. It unfortunately reset all of our items. So all of our armor and weapons and everything we had on us poofed away, and we were like, no, because all of our diamond shit, we found a huge cave and like all of our stuff was gone. And it was funny because May like when he did the reset, we all got teleported to the beginning again. And when we got teleported before we lost all our stuff, they saw May in like full diamond and they were like, what? because May and I were like really far along. But yeah, we had to, everything got reset. But it had to happen, otherwise the thing wasn't gonna run properly. So we're gonna for next time we'll fix it. No, the resources were not reset. The world was all in the same condition that it was in. And then we got like back to our spots where we left off, and then we realized we didn't even have like stone tools, so we were like, we can't even get out. So she died to a bunch of spiders, and I asked for permission to go into spectator mode really quick and just TP myself to the surface and then go back down. And he was like, yes, I'm not gonna leave you in the cave of spiders with nothing. And I was like, all right. And then yeah, I kept going. And I did have a lava bucket. I did have some armor and a weapon toward the end, because it was like halfway through that the reset happened. And then I tried to lava bucket people, but there was too much grass around, so I still got PvP'd to death before I could hit the button. But then when I went back up, May and I had another idea that we would just make a bunch of buttons and put a fuck ton of buttons around to throw people off. But when I got up to the top, it was like the last 5 minutes. Boostfur already did that. He had built a bunch of fake buttons that looked exactly the same, and he like terraformed a bit, so I couldn't tell which one was the OG. And I was like, fuck, because I had that idea too. I was gonna do that too. I was so mad. But it's interesting. Gives me ideas for next time. Gives me a lot of ideas. So we'll see. We shall see. I think he should do a Hunger Games style one next time. Drop on the map. Can't affect many blocks, but you can pick up things from chests. I think it'd be cool. Actually, you know what? Let me message him that. Let me tell him that. I'm gonna tell him. Do it Hunger Games style. No one can affect, can break, replace blocks, but there are chests around with weapons, armor, and a button in the middle. The other idea that we had was maybe for the next time. So the thing is, when someone presses the button, you don't know that they pressed it. You can't tell who pressed it last. So you just have to, if you've pressed it, now you have to watch the button. So we were saying, what if you make it so the second to last person to press it wins? Right? And still keep it like only one press or maybe two presses or something. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. He said I'm hungry for PvP. Everyone. I don't know. Anyone cut a promo? No, I should have. I should have. We'll see about next time. We'll see about next time. If you guys can think of some interesting games that I could just play with people in Minecraft, though, let me know. Let me know. Because I do know people that can set up like one simple mod, or I myself can grab it if it's something that doesn't need to be highly edited. So I was thinking about it. Or it could be, yeah, it could be event ideas for the server itself, which I hope gets done soon. He's still working on it. It's just Tofu works. But, we'll see. We'll see. Rock, paper, scissors style tournament. There is a rock, paper, scissors game mod. I just don't know if it's the same one they use in Block Wars. But for the last one, Chaos Edition, they had that. They had that. Anyway, we'll get to the server when it's time. I want to do it. For today, though, I wanted to bring up some stuff that we played last time, some of the indie games. I don't know if I'll do it on stream, but sometime later I have to play the new Arc Raiders update. They got the snowy update. Everything looks snowy and all pretty, and they added a cold mechanic, which actually is really interesting. Where like when you're outside and not in a building, your health drains, so you can't really take fights outside, or it's like a pretty bad idea. It's cool. It's cool. So if I have friends that are playing Arc later, maybe. But I'm thinking today, until then, until I want to do that, we can play maybe Dome Keeper, actually. Or I could continue Call of the Sea. I really want to continue Call of the Sea. Out of everything we played that day, actually, I liked everything that we played, but I think I most want to continue Call of the Sea and Dome Keeper. Those are the two that I keep, like, thinking about. The others I'm still going to get to, too, but you played so much Dome Keeper since then. Yeah, I'm really excited because they did say that they want to do, what's the word? Co-op of some sort. They want to add co-op to Dome Keeper. Let me see. Did they put... Open the store page. Did they put an announcement about it? Or was it, like, on their Twitter? I don't remember where they said it. They've talked about it as a thing that they want to do. Which I think would be super fucking exciting. Super exciting. Wish Henya could play on the non-JP arc, but the ping is bad. Yeah, I was gonna see if maybe I could play with her on JP servers instead. And just test how bad the ping is for me. Just see what happens. Because I really like Arc. And, you know, I could go in with a free kit, so if I die, I die. You know, it's whatever. I don't mind too much. But, actually, let me message her so I don't forget. I'll let her know. I don't mind playing with high ping. It is fun. It is fun. I always wanted to get into Tarkov, and I never really did. And then I felt like the game was so established. I felt weird just trying to get into it later. I don't know. I just have a hard time getting into games when they're like so established, right? But then Arc came out, and a lot of my friends were playing before it came out. They were in like that long ass closed beta. Or whatever it was called, and they could not stop singing the praises of how fun that game was. So I had been waiting for it for a while. I actually haven't put a fuck ton of hours in. I've been playing it very casually here and there, but I feel like it's a game I can play casually. Like, it doesn't feel bad getting back into it if I haven't played in a bit, you know? So I've been really enjoying it. I don't know. I like it. Grinding the 5 milli. I kind of do want to be on the grind set. I kind of do. I was talking to Nocturnal about playing with him. He got me a bunch of blueprints. I told him, I was like, honestly, I don't have gear fear. I'll use my good guns and lose them. I don't care. But the thing I don't have is I don't have blueprints to then make stuff later. And he was like, oh, I got you. And I popped into his chat last night to say hi because he's just been playing nothing but Ark for forever. And he's like, look, they upped some of the drop rates, and check this out. And he scrolls down, and he's got like 15 blueprints. He was like, you can have all of them. So I gotta bother him. Actually, let me message him too. I have so many people I have to message about different things. Knock. I miss seeing him around in like the VTuber community. He used to be very active, but they just aren't playing Apex the way they used to. I'll message him. Arc suit? I always had so much fun playing stuff with him though. Like when we would hop into Apex, he knows I'm like, my aim is shit. I'm gonna run around like a boomer, you know? But he'd be like, oh, fuck it, let's go shoddy snipes, you know? So it's good. Yeah, apparently the blueprint drop rate went up, which is good. It's good. I'm glad. His stream was fun yesterday. Yeah, he's always been chill. I like, you know, I've made a lot of friends that are like pro players from various games through streaming, and a lot of them are really, really nice, and they're usually, how do I say it? They're more focused on playing the game they need to play more than like worrying about their viewers, worrying about content, all that stuff. And they tend to make for more chill friends. You know what I mean? Because they're not like content goblins. They're just having a good time. And it's genuinely very relaxing, relieving, calming when you're in a community of people where you're like, you don't know who wants what from you, you know? And it can make making friends a little weird sometimes, a little odd sometimes, and I try my best to look past that, you know. But I find with a lot of pro players, they don't really have that because that's not their focus. They stream on the side, but they're usually just going for like, you know, their gameplay or whatever it is. And I found I've had to, you know, not really have fear with that kind of shit. I should play with Garrick more too. But yeah. Sips, Justin, and NL Arc Elevator podcast were chill. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just find like I do my best to just make friends in the space regardless. And if they want something from me, they can't get it from me unless I give it to them. So, you know, if I make friends with someone and then later like it's clear they just want to be on my stream, well, I don't throw people on my stream immediately. So, you know, you know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't really work on me so much, but even so, it just sucks to have to think about that, right? It's not something you want to think about at all. The fact that you have to sucks. So the Pharaoh is your favorite arc weapon? I honestly really like the Pharaoh, even if it's kind of garbage at times. I like the Renegade. I like the Renegade and the Anvil. Those are my goats. But yeah, it's rough out here. It's rough out here. Pharaoh goated. Pharaoh is, but depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing, but I usually do. I just like upgrade to Pharaoh 4 and there you go. That's it. I don't know. I like that game though. I'll play more of it later. For now though, I want to continue. Do you guys want Call of the Sea or Dome Keeper? Call of the Sea was the mystery one that was giving us some of those like Blueprints-esque vibes, a little more on rails, whereas Blueprints was like whole roguelite. And then the other one, Dome Keeper, was just, you know, anybody keeping they dome. I'll do a little poll. I'll do a poll. Like Call of the Sea has story. Dome Keeper is, you know, just vibing. Like just head empty playing a game, you know? So whatever you feel like getting into more. But you tell me. You tell me. Renegade has its durability drained too quickly. I do agree. I do agree with that. You're not wrong. But I like how it shoots anyway. I like how it shoots. Plain and simple. If you 50-50 it, kill half the chat. Yeah, if you 50-50 it, I'll actually just flip a coin so your voice doesn't matter in the end. That's just how it's gonna go. And to state, I think 50-50ing a poll on purpose is cringe. But if you're actually torn, that's totally fine. Ooh, right at the end, Dome Keeper pulled ahead. All right, we'll do Call of the Sea tomorrow then. We'll do some Dome Keeper today.